Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for telling a guy what I do for work and letting him pay for my drinks during the whole evening? Edit title. Am I the antagonist for not telling a guy what I do for work and letting him pay for my drinks during the whole evening? My friend Grace invited me to a board game bar to play and have drinks with her boyfriend and one of their friends, Nick. We went to get drinks in pairs, Grace going with her boyfriend. Meanwhile, Nick and I stayed at the table and vice versa. So Nick and I had plenty of time to talk, just the two of us. Nick started the night by telling about his recent career change. He decided to quit his previous job, go to a coding boot camp, and he got a job as a developer 1 or 2 months ago. He was very proud of himself and his new salary and told me this multiple times. He never asked me what I do for work, but talked about his new job quite a lot, occasionally saying sorry, you don't understand that. Haha. During the entire evening, I never told him I have been working as a software engineer for the past 4 years, because he never asked, and honestly, I found it a bit entertaining. When it came to the drinks, he invited me to every single one. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem with my developer salary. I told him multiple times he doesn't have to pay for me, but he insisted. At the end of the night, when we were saying our goodbyes, he took out his phone to send me a friend request on Facebook. My job is listed in my profile. So that was when he realized that I'm software engineer. He asked me if it's true that I'm a software engineer, and I answered yes. He asked me why I haven't told him. Why did I let him believe I was a cashier like Grace used to be? I never implied that. And why did I let him pay for everything when I probably earn more than him? I told him that he never once asked, and it was his fault. He assumed he could have simply asked me about my job, but he only wanted to brag about his. But if he wants me to, I can pay him back for the drinks. He was angry and said I made a fool out of him. I think he did that, not me. But now Grace and her boyfriend are on his side too, saying that it would have cost me nothing to tell him early in the evening and I only kept it for myself for my own entertainment. Well, I did find it entertaining, but I don't really feel like I did anything wrong. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. Nick was bragging. You played along with it. It probably never occurred to him that women can be software engineers. It was probably quite entertaining. Although you probably wouldn't want him as a boyfriend. NTA. This, as a composer who's doing reasonably well in the field, I'm also a woman. And I'm fairly young. I've had my fair share of men who assume they've done more things in the music industry than I have. He never asked me what I do for work, but talked about his new job quite a lot, occasionally saying sorry, you don't understand that. Haha. This, right here, not the a-hole. NTA. As a fellow female software engineer, I know what this is like, and I would have done the same. I have sat and listened to men brag about what they do and how much they make, and offer to buy me drinks at events we are at. I'm married. My husband is there with me. They still do it. He laughs and lets them pay when they bring up how much they make. We live in a fairly low median income area. It's usually well below what I make. Haven't had anyone make more or even close yet. My husband will chime in and call me his sugar mama, which is hilarious. Frankly, if their self-worth is based on their job and they didn't ask about yours, I also would tell them if they asked. They never do, then they deserved it. Am I the antagonist for telling my family to stop saying my stepmom is my mom? My mom died when I was 5 years old. My dad met and married my stepmom when I was 8. At the time she asked if I wanted to be adopted and accepted my no. She did, however, bring up a few times over the next decade that if I wanted to call her mom she would love it. That's not something I ever wanted to do, so I didn't. But I do think she's genuinely a great person, and she makes my dad happy. I never minded her saying I was her son, or her firstborn, or whatever. She and my dad had children together, so I get her wanting to include me as well. But over the years my dad has stopped talking about my mom completely and calls my stepmom my mom. I have asked him not to, and he has refused to listen. Now I'm 22, and I live with my amazing girlfriend, and she has been put in weird situations with my dad. Half siblings and extended family all calling my stepmom my mom. Her parents met my dad and stepmom for the first time recently, and they were confused when my dad was saying stepmom was my mom. They knew my mom died. They also knew I had a stepmom. But my dad brought up stepmom as mom in a way that they were a little thrown off. Not to mention him saying, when we had dovers and stuff like that, my half siblings brought it up too. Even calling me out for using her name over dinner. Saying don't call mom name, call her mom. Like you call him dad sort of thing. After my girlfriend's parents left, I told them to stop. That my stepmom is not my mom and they need to stop saying that she is. I told them they had made things very awkward because my girlfriend's parents knew the truth, and having them behave the way they did made it seem weird and probably had them wondering if I was some crazy asshole who made up a story about my mom dying. My stepmom was pretty quiet during the whole thing. My dad told me I stepped over the line trying to police them, and he said whether I liked it or not she was more of mom to me than my mom had ever been. He said I break her heart every day I put step in front of mom and don't show her the same kind of love my siblings show her. He told me I also had no right to tell my siblings what to do. Am I the antagonist here? I'm admittedly still so pissed that my dad threw it in my face that I didn't have mom for very long. It's not like it was a choice she or I made. I would give anything to have her alive and for her to be the one who raised me. Again, I appreciate my stepmom and she's a good person, but I never loved or wanted her the way I love my mom. Now for the top comments. NTA. You don't have to call your stepmom mum. I don't do it for my stepdad. Simply because he isn't my dad. What your dad said about her being a better mother than your actual mother is horrible. I think maybe you should sit your dad and stepmom down and explain that you will not call her anything but her name or stepmom, and that if they overstep the boundary of trying to bully you to call her mum in front of other people, then there will be consequences. Whatever these consequences are, you decide for yourself. NTA agreed. And it's like they are trying to erase your mum. You have enough love for everyone. NTA dad. My mom died when I was 5. Don't try telling me that stepmother has been in my life longer. Because it's not like my mother walked out on me. She died. She had no choice in the matter and neither did I. If I had the choice, I would 100% want my mom back. But that's not going to happen. But I'm not going to let you shit on my mother's memory to save your wife's feelings. Or yours for that matter. If stepmother really loved me, she'd be understanding of my needs as the child in this situation instead of demanding or manipulating me through others, like you and half siblings. To me, she will always be stepmother. If she cannot respect that, then it will be further lesson to my dad's wife. Because that's what this is pushing me towards, and it is honestly making me resent her and you. If you can't respect the fact I will always view my mom as mom and stepmother as stepmother, then I will need to cut you all off. Keep that in mind the next time you'd rather prioritize your wife's feelings over your child's, because I'm sure if mom were here, she'd be seriously pissed off at your selfishness and coldness. Perhaps there's a lesson here, dad. We don't always get what we want. I want my mom back. Your wife wants to be my mom. Guess we both will never get what we want. Apostrophe. Am I the antagonist for leaving a dinner date after he fed his dogs a better meal than us? Title screams entitlement, but let me explain. I started casually dating a guy 2 months ago. We have gone on several dates, such as movies or dinner at restaurants and the arcade at the pier near the ocean. It's been a really pleasant time and I don't want you guys to think I don't appreciate this guy, because I do. But this really rubbed me the wrong way. As for who has been paying for the dates, we usually split 50-50. He has paid for me once, and I have paid for him twice, but the rest is split. So he knows that I have a gastro-reflux disease, severe acid reflux, that I'm on medications for. I can't eat anything that has red sauces, BBQ sauce or artificial dyes such as red or blue. Yes, the medications help, but only if I'm sticking to a pretty clean diet. I can't even eat hamburger because of the red dye they use. When I eat the things mentioned above, I feel like I'm having a heart attack. As I said, he knows all of this. We have talked about it several times. So he invites me over to his place and says he wants to make dinner. He makes a point to tell me to make sure you have a strong appetite, so I didn't eat anything at all since breakfast, and I was starving after working all day. So I arrive at 6 PM and I see him making steak, eggs, potatoes and corn on the cob, the small ones that you put in pasta salad. It looked and smelled delicious. He puts on a movie while we wait, so I'm in the living room the entire time he is cooking. Well, he keeps going back and forth between the kitchen and living room, and on his last trip back, he brings out our plates and much to my surprise, it's pizza. I just kind of look at him and ask where the steak and eggs were, and he pretty bluntly said that was for his dogs, 2 German shepherds, and stated they eat better than he does. I reminded him that I cold eat pizza, red sauce, and he starts arguing that he made sure to not put much sauce on it and kept telling me to just try it. I asked if he had anything else, and he said no. I told him sorry, but I needed to go and excuses myself. On the way home I grabbed myself something to eat. Well, he calls me and it sounds like he is having a meltdown, saying he can't believe I made him feel like that, and that the pizza was homemade, and he made sure not to put much sauce on it, but he knows I can't have it at all, and said something about adding sugar to it, etc. Said I've showed my true colors. My friends also think I'm overreacting here, and said I'm acting jealous of his dogs. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA, you told him you couldn't eat certain foods. He made you those exact foods. You left. People who don't have issues with foods hurting them rarely understand why you follow a strict diet. I play mine off in public because I don't want to sound whinny, but it absolutely sucks ass. Sorry he turned out to have a meltdown. No, not the a-hole. This is what casual dating is for. He seems to have confused dislike of strong sauce, hence the sugar, for an actual medical condition. But it is odd that he can't seem to understand the simple medical explanation. Not sure this has anything to do with the dogs. Oh my god, not the a-hole. You dodged a massive bullet here, and I'm glad he showed his true colors early on. Anyone who minimizes or disregards your dietary restrictions isn't just toxic, but an actual health hazard. The fact that he came unglued after you left and railed at you over the phone shows that he has massive insecurity issues. And, like, I own a very spoiled dog. I absolutely home cook for the dude from time to time, but that was. Is he doing that consistently? That's expensive. Don't lose any sleep over this dude. He's a total mess and you handled him with more civility than others would have. Just try the food. That would put you in extreme pain. Oh man, I'm mad just reading that. I agree with this. Block the dude. You don't need this kind of nonsense in your life. You can find someone respectful of your health and dietary needs, not the a-hole. Am I the antagonist for warning my biological dad's girlfriend about him? So, for a little bit of background, my biological dad has had this continuous habit where he gets with a girl for 2-3 years, gets her pregnant, breaks up with her, promises to come visit his child, then never does, and completely ghosts her. He began doing this when my eldest half-sister was born, and has been doing it ever since. In total, from what I know of, I have 6 other half-siblings. Anyway, moving on. The reason I said I didn't know if that was the total amount was because me and my bio dad just recently started talking, and I haven't been able to meet most of his girlfriends up until a week ago. My dad called me and told me he wanted me to meet his new girlfriend, since they had been dating for a year. So, I said sure, and we planned everything out. Time, date, etc. On my way there, the thought struck me. I need to warn her about my bio dad's habit. So fast forward, I eventually get there, and about 4 of my other siblings were there, which was surprising, since he usually didn't invite his kids to his house at all. Anyway, while my siblings were talking to my bio dad, I pulled his girlfriend to the side and basically explained his habit, and that I thought it would be in her best interest to not have a child with him. She was kinda shocked and embarrassed that she didn't see it sooner. I assured her it was normal and that he was basically a pro now. A couple hours pass. I decide to leave because my siblings already had. I say my goodbyes and go home. The next morning, I wake up to 23 missed calls from my dad and 8 voicemails. Basically all of the voicemails said I was a asshole and that I ruined his and hers relationship. I ended up finding out that they had gotten into a big fight over it and his girlfriend broke up with him. Honestly, I was happy that she did. She seemed like a nice person, so I'm glad I could at least save one person and their child from having a childhood and life like me and my siblings. But some of my siblings agree with my dad and say I shouldn't have overstepped boundaries and that he was probably going to tell her anyway. So, am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA, you did the right thing by not bringing a child into this world where the mother would have to struggle being a single mom. And come one, he presented her 5 children, all from different mothers. With all he had a relationship. If she just thought a little, she would have run for herself. He is one of this spread my genes are. NTA. Tell her what? That's he's a serial procreator, a deadbeat dad. Yeah, right. Not the a-hole. You did her a favor. NGL. Makes me wonder if he's a reproductive abuser. I wonder what the situation was with each of them regarding using protection. Am I the antagonist for not wanting my sister to go to Paris with me? I, 24F, have 2 sisters, 26 and 23. My older sister and I are going to Paris specifically to buy luxury items because it's tax-free and cheaper. We did not invite our younger sister because she always goes on vacation with little money and expects us to accommodate for her needs. This time we decided to not invite her at all because of repeated behavior of expecting my sister and I to pay everything for her, and I want to spend my money on me instead of her. It's just frustrating when someone agreed to come on vacation with you and they don't pay for themselves but rely on other people to pay for their share. My younger sister is pissed, but we felt it necessary to have a vacation without the extra expenses. Am I the asshole? Now for the top comments. NTA, you are all adults. If your sister can't afford to pay her own way, she shouldn't go. This exactly. Money management isn't my strong suit either, but taking advantage of siblings like that is gross. NTA, she can't afford to go, so you didn't invite her. Have fun. NTA, but I might want to have the difficult conversation and tell your younger sister exactly why she isn't invited. A little tough love might be good in this situation. Am I the antagonist for getting mad at my girlfriend after she tried to throw out my Bible? So to start, I'm 24 male, an atheist, and I always have been. I don't care if someone is religious or not, because you can believe whatever you want to believe in. One of my close friends who I knew almost my entire life was heavily Christian, but never tried to force me to become Christian. They had this little Bible that they had filled with their favorite scriptures, prayers, and quotes from the Bible they read. They died of lymphoma 6 years ago and gave it to me because they thought I might want to read it someday. They asked me to pray with them in their final days, which I did. I've prayed for them every anniversary of their birthday and death. My girlfriend, 22F, of 6 months, knows I'm atheist, and she is too. She has asked about it before, but I don't feel like explaining me praying for my dying friend in their deathbed, so I give vague answers to her. Recently I was praying for my friend as it was their birthday, and since she has keys to my apartment, my girlfriend walked in on me praying. She grabbed the Bible off of my bed and walked over to the trash can, saying I need to tell her why I have it and why I pray for someone. I grabbed it away from her and I told her that it doesn't matter because it's mine, and that means she doesn't touch unless I say she can. I made her give me the keys to my apartment and kicked her out. Her friends have been texting me saying that I was a huge jerk for doing that to her. I think it shouldn't matter why I have it because it's mine, so she can't just grab it and throw it away like that. I can also see their point though, as she didn't know that Bible's history. I can kinda see both sides of the argument, so am I the antagonist? Edit. Apparently saying I give vague answers can be construed as me refusing to explain. I give answers like a friend gave it to me. It has special meaning to me. It was a friend's, that's what I mean by vague. Now for the top comments. NTA. Regardless of whether you are religious or not, that was your property that she tried to throw away without your consent. That shows a profound disrespect for you and your belongings. That's correct. Your girlfriend should not have tried to throw out your Bible. There is a big however, a gigantic asterisk. Which is this. You say you are an atheist, and your girlfriend is too, but she found you praying to her. That is likely evidence that you are lying to her about being an atheist. I'm an atheist. I will not get romantically involved with someone who is a believer. So if I got involved with someone who said they were an atheist, yet found them praying with a Bible no less, at the very least I would want an immediate explanation. And frankly, that better be a really D&M good explanation. I'm not saying that praying is absolutely inconsistent with atheism, but I can confidently say that most atheists would see praying over a Bible as prima facie evidence that the person praying is not an atheist. Therefore, everyone sucks here. And op. If you want to keep your girlfriend, you better figure out how to explain to her how someone who bills themselves as an atheist is praying with a Bible. Because your inability to provide an explanation would be, I think, for most atheists, further evidence that you are, in fact, not an atheist, which your girlfriend would take as a further violation of trust. So either step up and provide the explanation, or resign yourself to losing your girlfriend. NTA. It's reasonable to ask for an explanation of religious behavior from an atheist partner. However, throwing out any possession of yours is our behavior, especially while you were using it. Taking away her key is reasonable, since she does not respect your stuff. NTA. But you just told a bunch of strangers about why that Bible and praying in those circumstances are so important to you. You might want to ask yourself why you can't tell her.